Welcome you, welcome all of you to my YouTube channel. So in this tutorial, I am discussing about manual testing concept. So first of all, I am discussing what is software development lifecycle. It is a main part of software development. So SDLC is a software development lifecycle is a process used by software industry to design, develop, test softwares. So this is a diagram of HDLC. First, we have to requirement analysis, requirement gathering. Then we have to design the software UI. Then we have development. In this development, we have to write a code, which is done by a software developer. Then there is a testing. It is done by a software tester. Then it is a maintenance. So that is the whole part of software development life cycles. After that, there is a waterfall model. So in this waterfall model, there is also a requirement analysis, requirement gathering, and system design, UI interface designing, implementation, writing code, and testing the software manually and automated, deploy the application, then maintenance. So there is a advantage and disadvantages of waterfall model. So advantages of waterfall model is quality of the product will be good since the requirement changes are not allowed. So in waterfall model, requirement changes is not allowed. Change of finding bug will be less. Chances of finding bugs will be less. Initial investment is less since the tester are hired at a later stages. Preferred for small project where requirement are freezed. Disadvantages of waterfall model. So requirement changes are not allowed. If there is defect in requirement, that will be continued in later phases. Total investment is more because time taken for rework on defect is time consuming, which lead to high investment. Testing will start only after coding. So testing is starting when coding is done. Then after testing is starting. So after that there is a spiral model. So spiral model is iterative model. Spiral model overcome drawbacks of waterfall model. So it is basically come after the drawbacks of waterfall model. We follow spiral model whenever there is dependency on the modules. In every cycle, new software will be released to customer. Software will be released in multiple versions, so it is also called a version control model. So this is a diagram of spiral model. So first, there is a requirement analysis, which is planning. Then it is a prototype, which is risk analysis. Then development and testing, which is engineering and execution. Then customer evaluation, which is evaluation of done by customer. So this is a diagram of spiral model. So spiral model also have advantages and disadvantages. So advantages of a spiral model. Testing is done in every cycle. So when suppose we have a software application, this one module is developed. Then testing is done with one module because it makes our software quality very high. So testing is done in every cycle before going to the next cycle. Customer will get to use the software for every model. Customer is ready to use software of every model. Requirement changes are allowed after every cycle before going to the next circle. So in spiral model, there is requirement changes are allowed after every circle. Disadvantages of spiral model. Requirement changes are not allowed in between the cycle. So in between the cycle, requirement changes is not allowed. Every cycle of spiral model looks like a waterfall model. So waterfall model and spiral model is same as, but spiral model comes from drawbacks of waterfall model. There is no testing in requirement in design phases. So no testing is done in requirement and designing phases. So this is a V model. V model is very important in software testing because it has a verification and validation. So verification is BRS, CRS, URS. So verification is done when we have to verify the test documentation, which is SRS documentation, BRS, CRS, and URS. Then review HLD, LLD. We are discussing next tutorial what is HLD, what is LLD. So after that there is coding. So in validation there is user acceptance testing, which is black box testing techniques. Then after SRS. So SRS we have done a system testing. Then we have HLD and LLD. In this HLD and LLD there is a integration testing. Then after coding. Coding is a in validation we have to check a unit testing. So in V model, it is will depend on verification and validation. So verification is done when we have to verify the documentation, and validation is done we have to check the software quality. We have done a software testing. So what there is also advantages and disadvantages of V model. So advantages of V model is that testing is involved in each and every phases. So testing is done each and every phases of software testing. And the disadvantages of V model is that documentation is more, initial investment is more, because when we have to test the software, there is more documentation in V model, and there is a initial investment is more because there is very costly. When we have done every phases of software testing, every module of software is tested, then we have discussed what is verification and validation. It is the most important topic of software testing. So verification check whether we build the right product. So verification, we have to check that we build the right product or not. Focus on documentation. Verify typically involves review, walkthroughs, inspection. So validation. Validation check whether we are building the right product. So validation is done when we have to build the product. And verification is done when we have to write the documentation of our product. Take place verification takes validation take place after verifications are completed. Then we have to verify the software requirement. Then validation is done. Focus on software. It is mainly focus on software. Validation typically involves actual testing. So in validation, we have to done actual testing like unit testing, integration testing, system testing, and user acceptance testing. Then what is static versus dynamic testing? So in static testing is an approach to test project document in form of reviews, walkthroughs, and inspection. So static testing is like that. We have to verify, we have to test the documentation of what project, reviews, walkthroughs, and inspection. And then after there is dynamic testing. Dynamic testing is an approach to test the actual software by giving input and observing result. So dynamic testing is done when we have to check the software quality. We have to done a software testing. There is also we have done a system testing, smoke testing, sanitation testing, regression testing, and integration testing, and many more. So that is all about basic of software testing. So I hope this video is very helpful to you, all of you. Please give your support and love, and I am taking a next tutorial, basic of software testing part 2. Thank you all of you for watching this video. Do like, subscribe, share, and press subscribe button.